WLHR, Las Vegas Hot Radio, the heart and soul of Las Vegas music.
Stay tuned for What's Up Las Vegas with your host, Lynelle Baker.
Right here on LasVegasHotRadio.com. What's up, Las Vegas Hot Radio? It's your girl Lynelle, and I am checking in live here from Beijing, China. And I have a very exciting interview today. I'm going to be speaking with Miss Anina Net. And Anina Net is the name of her organization, but Net is actually her last name. So it's kind of a play on words, but Miss Anina Net, she is kind of a genius of her time. A brilliant young woman who has amazing product line that she will be launching at the New York Fashion Week this year. And so we're going to talk to her all about all of the exciting events surrounding the products. You're actually going to get a chance to see some of the products. I'm actually wearing one of her necklaces, and it's not dark in here, so you're not getting the full impact of the necklace, but it's illuminated fashion. It is robotic clothing, absolutely amazing. You'll be able to also check her out online and see some of the things that she's done in the past with the Chinese government and lots of major corporations where she has helped them do major projects involving technology. So she's absolutely a brilliant young woman, and I would like to introduce her to Las Vegas Hot Radio. Hello, Anina.
Hi, Lynelle. I'm super excited to be here.
And we're excited to have you. Can you just look into the camera and say, "What's up, Las Vegas Hot Radio," for my listeners and viewers?
What's up, Las Vegas Hot Radio? How are you today?
So I did a little bit of bragging on you in the introduction, and it really is well deserved. And you have an exciting online summit coming up. Let's talk about that first. And it's where diversity meets technology. So tell the listeners and viewers a little bit about that.
I think that in the technology industry, or just in general, I'm sure as you've experienced, there just aren't enough diverse minds thinking about it, creating new services. And so I come from the technology and fashion side, and I think that we need more diversity there, because if we have all different stories, if we have all different points of view, then when we're working and developing technology, we will have more solutions for everyone. One great example in one of the speeches that you'll be able to watch if you're attending the online conference is that they talked about AI, right? AI is taking over the world. However, who is programming the AI?
Well, let me just interrupt you, because some of our viewers and listeners don't know what AI means.
Artificial intelligence. Programs that are written in order to have some logic. So that could be a chat bot. When you go to a website, sometimes they have these chat windows. There's not a real human there that is answering. Instead, there's some automated logic. But you always come to the end of the logic and you're like, I need to talk to a human, And also online on telephone calls, I'm sure you've experienced the teleprompters. That's a form of AI. There's other forms of AI, artificial intelligence, that, for example, get built into cameras that can see us. Those speeding cameras, or now they have cameras that do facial recognition, right? Mm-hmm. So one example that was given by a speaker at the summit was that, generally white males are building those programs. So one day when this black female sat in front of the camera couldn't see her because no one had programmed the artificial intelligence camera to be able to see different skin colors.
Wow.
It had never occurred to anyone that we might have various different skin colors, right?
Yes.
No one had tested that. No one had thought about that. Whereas if we, and if that's one example, you could imagine so many other situations
Sure.
that you may have a specific need, but the camera can't see you, or the chatbot can't understand you, or the logic on the phone just keeps going around and around. But if we had diverse people, women, men, LGBTQA, you know, all different people programming those AI algorithms, we would have diversity, and there would be more ways that could be used to serve and help people. And that's just not even one example. I'm in the wearable tech area, and if you look at those Fitbits and you look at those sports trackers, they're generally designed by men, so they look very masculine. They're certainly not fashionable. So that's why I also said, hey, we need women designing technology.
Yes.
We need creatives and fashion people designing technology so that we can get beautiful things that we would want to wear.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So the online summit is going to take place on July 20th. And that will be online. People can just log into it. And you're going to have a variety of speakers on the summit. I mean, some really huge people, powerful people like Sandy Carter from Amazon. And tell us some of the other people that will be involved and some of the things that they will be talking about and kind of the order of the summit.
Yeah, so it is an online summit, and that means that you can sign up and log in, much similar to a webinar. And so we made it free because we really want to promote these incredible speakers. One part of diversity, and I'm sure you've experienced this having attended many, many events, do you ever see a lot of women on the stage speaking? Do you see a lot of women of color on the stage speaking? I mean, it depends maybe the conference, but in technology, no.
Well, in the realm of the types of events that I attend, and because I'm an African American female, I do. But I agree with you when you get into other conferences outside of, say, Congressional Black Caucus or the NAACP or events that are generally for people of color. You don't really see it as much, and a lot of the things that I do professionally outside of those type of things, a lot of times I tend to be the only woman of color or the only person of color involved with the project, or even here in China on trips and things of that nature. I know I've been the only one from the United States in many instances. Sometimes we may have a few people from Africa, but you're right. It's very rare. And we do need to be more diverse as a culture of people.
But then how do we do that? Because what I've been learning from, say, Sandy Carter, she gives 5 tips on how you can bring more diversity into your corporate environment. Wanda L. Scott, she talks about how we need to have a diverse mindset because we all come with unconscious bias. She said that even she is a woman of color, she has unconscious bias. And then I spoke with Matthew Waldman today, who's a professor from America who's living in Japan, and he talked about, that we need more LGBTQ out there, for example, and that all of these people, together, first of all, we can help the younger generations find role models. When I started, I stepped out of modeling and decided that I would try to become the tech model. so that when young girls saw me in the magazines or in posters, that they would be like, oh, that's Anina. She programs her own website. She makes wearable tech. Ah, that looks cool. I think I'll pursue a career in that area, right?
Yes.
So even when I stepped out, I couldn't find any role models. I was always in meetings with men. And I even remember that I won top 10 business plan. Like, I was one of 10 people. I didn't win it, excuse me. And the ad for the winner was a photo of a guy with two hot chicks on the left and the right. And then they bleeped out his face and they said, this could be you. And I was the only woman. I wrote to the conference organizer. I said, I am not coming to your conference. Am I gay? Is that what you're saying? If you put me in between these two girls, what are you saying about me? And they freaked out. It had never entered their mind that, well, there would be a woman.
Generally, it's always a man.
So that was in 2008 that they were like, please don't make a big deal out of this. I was like, I'm talking about this on the internet, man. They were like, oh, please don't do this to us. And I let it slide, but I think I let it slide because I was younger then, and I felt like pressured into it, But now I'd be calling that out like big time, So, I mean, that's just one of my first memories that I didn't realize then. But actually, now that I'm, listening and recording all of these online speeches, I'm realizing that it's super rampant. These unconscious biases that we have, how we grew up, so therefore we look for those types of archetypes. Mm-hmm. So they say in Silicon Valley, that's a really big problem because generally VCs, they were successful entrepreneurs.
Okay, so again, VCs.
Oh, venture capitalists.
Okay.
Yeah, people with money that invest. And generally they were entrepreneurs, they sold their company, they made a big amount of money, and now they go and they invest that money into startups. But somewhere in the back of their mind, success equals them. So they're looking for themselves, right? And generally, historically, male engineers have been the ones to cash out and become venture capitalists. And so it's like this never-ending circle that we can't get out of. And
I do agree that we all have unconscious bias, and we're all also a product of our environment, and we really know what we have been exposed to. So if that's what you've seen growing up, if you've always seen a male in this role, I think most people, even when they think of a police officer, they think of a male police officer, even though we have many women in the field. I think that's the first thought that comes to your mind is a male. Sometimes even doctor, you think of a doctor, that's a male, even though we have a lot of female doctors. So a lot of things, until the woman walks into the room, you're expecting a man.
And then there were speakers talking about that even you're in the room, you're at the table, that's what they call it, you're at the table, and your voice can't be heard. So another thing Sandy Carter said, I asked her, what is diversity and inclusion? She said, there's diversity, and that diversity is like being invited to the dance. And inclusion is being asked to dance. So she said that a lot of times, they will recruit the right, corporations will recruit diverse people, but when they get in the company, they don't feel included and they'll leave immediately. And so many women engineers say they feel outnumbered, they get treated differently, and so this has to change. And we have to become conscious. And so that's why I created this online summit, was to, first of all, kick off the whole, New York thing that we're doing.
Yes, very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. If you plan on attending Fashion Week, you don't want to miss this, because if you love fashion, if you love technology, like I do, this is an event that will blow you away. Some amazing products.
But it wouldn't be enough just to do another 360 fashion and tech event. I've done lots of those. But it is really the diversity aspect that will bring us innovation. And we're moving into robots and interactive environments and artificial intelligence. And if we don't get some diversity in there, I fear for our future.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back, and you're going to hear more about this from Anina Net of 360 Fashion Network.
Hey, I've been meaning to ask you, where'd you get that lipstick?
It's Tanta's Cosmetics by Nadanya. Girl, they have over 42 vibrant hues of the sheerest of pure to the boldness of cobalt blue.
Wow.
With exciting shades of nude, pink, red, and orange, and anything in between.
Well, I just love it. Can I find it online?
Yes, at TantasCosmetics.com.
It's a deal. I'm going on TantasCosmetics.com.
And you can find it at Macy's, 12 Oaks, Novi, Michigan, and Lenox Mall in Atlanta, Georgia. It's Tanta's Cosmetics by Nadanya. Now, on with the show, right here on LasVegasHotRadio.com. So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to What's Up Las Vegas with your host, Lynelle Baker. And we have been here interviewing Miss Anina Net from Anina Net 360 Fashion Network. And we're talking about all the exciting events that she has coming up with her fashion and technology, and it's diverse. We have had a wonderful conversation before we went to break, and we were talking about your online summit. So for those who are just joining us, in brief, when can they log on? How can they log on to listen to the online summit? And the date, the time, the website, if the listeners want to be involved in that. And just in brief, if they're just joining us, just a brief synopsis of what will be covered.
So the summit is Diversity Meets Technology. It's about fashion, technology, and how we need diverse people thinking and creating these beautiful things in our lives. And you can join and sign up any day. It starts on July 20th and 21st. Those 2 days, they'll be full of streaming videos of speakers from around the world. And you can sign up for free. And the URL is diversitysummit.360fashion.net.
Awesome. Completely awesome. And what time of day for people on different time zones?
Oh, it'll be in New York time, starting at 9 a.m. with my opening speech and ending around 10 p.m. Every day for the July 20th and 21st.
Okay, so that will be Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
New York is on Eastern Standard Time. So guys, please log on to the summit. And are people able to interact or just listen?
So at the end of each speech, there's a 20-minute speech, there will be a live chat with each speaker, and you can ask all kinds of questions and interact with them.
Okay, and so again, some of the speakers that will be there, I know I mentioned Sandy Carter. Who else do you plan on having on the line?
Oh, there's amazing speakers such as Alison Lewis. She's very well known in the fashion tech industry. Ricardo Onasissimo, he's also well known in the fashion industry. There's Wanda L. Scott, who is a well-known speaker on diversity and inclusion. And we have also speakers like Misha Benoliel, who's speaking on Bluetooth networks. So there's a bit of tech, there's a bit of fashion, there's some diversity and inclusion, and we have our special guests and partners, which are the Melange Fashion Show. And we will be having a huge fashion show with diversity and inclusion with them in New York City during the Fashion Week.
Awesome, awesome. So, Diversity Meets Technology, the event that's going to actually take place during New York Fashion Week, September 6th through the 9th. And that is going to be a robotic dress hackathon. So tell us a little bit more about that, because I'm not really sure if all the listeners and viewers actually fully understand what that means.
Oh, well, there'll be several events planned between the September 6th and 9th. And because I would love more women to have opportunity to experience technology, we right now have selected 3 designers who we are working with to build robotic dresses. That's like transformer mechanical clothing.
Like the Matrix.
Yeah, like Transformers, like Autobot, So
my dress will like snap itself, zip itself.
There's so many different...
Button my sleeve, I just put it on and it just goes...
Some concepts are very artistic. So one collection by Azriel YM, she was inspired by the ocean and data from the ocean, and of course how we're polluting the oceans. So she's made all of these dresses that will move
like the ocean?
Like seaweed. There's one that's like seaweed.
I want one.
It'll be moving like this. There's another one she calls fishtail, which will have like these huge sort of fishtail parts. And then there's one that's called jellyfish that like pops up like this. I don't know.
Wow.
We make these ridiculous names for them just so that we're clear. I'm like, are you talking about the jellyfish? She's like, yeah, I'm talking about the jellyfish. So
my imagination is just going wow with that. Do you know how wonderful that sounds? Now, will they also have sound?
So actually, the sound dresses will come from designer from New York, Claire Tattersall. Her concept is that the dress is called the piano dress. And so as you touch the dress, you will be hearing piano sounds. And then the other 2 dresses, they have like vines, kind of like, weeping willows. So when she told me this concept, I said, that's kind of like sitting on your porch in the South, drinking a mint julep, someone's playing the piano, and then those dresses will be moving and reacting to the piano sounds.
Wow, this sounds like something that like Lady Gaga would have on stage.
So they are more fantastical, of course. I do think, though, Christian Bruns from Germany, I think he's a little bit more down to earth. I don't know his concepts yet, but he's in the process right now. We're doing assembly. So he tends to be a little bit more realistic and make things that you could wear down the street. So I'm excited.
Well, I would totally wear the sea dress moving to an event. I mean, can you imagine the awe when you walk in the room? And for an event that has something to do with fashion, I would totally wear it.
Well, that's why we love Las Vegas radio, because I think the only place that like you can wear all my stuff and where people will understand it is Las Vegas,
Absolutely,
right? Because it's such a high fashion, theatrical, nightlife kind of city. You certainly, I just find it hard that, other places that they would wear, but there's so much nightlife and fantastic, elegant events.
And so much entertainment, where you would have entertainers that would want to have this in their show. So many entertainers have residencies here in Las Vegas. So they, would totally want to have these theatrics, because when you think of Las Vegas, you think of glitz, glamour, lights, and something magnificent. You also have Vegas is a big place for the magic shows. David Copperfield's always there. So these dresses are kind of magical. They kind of encompass everything that stands for Vegas: glitz, glamour, lights, and magical, because they have the movement, the sound, the lights. So I think it's truly an amazing project, and I mean, oh my God, it's just gonna totally blow people away. You guys, if you are available during Fashion Week in New York, you definitely want to attend this event. Do you have any idea the cost of the tickets for people who want to attend, or is it an invite only?
Yeah, so for example, the hackathon is, curated women developers who will be selected to then have this training from Amazon to learn how to connect a piece of clothing to the cloud. So that's sort of the second part, is that once we have all these clothes done, then we're bringing them to the AWS loft where they will be hacked on. That's a term meaning that you experiment, you try out new things, right? So they will have then this training to learn how do we connect a piece of clothing to the cloud, and then what does it do in the cloud, you know? There's a lot of algorithms. AWS has lots of voodoo magic in the cloud that then they can experiment with. So once they are done with the hackathon, then we will move them to Harlem, to a beautiful location, St. Mary's Church, where we are privileged to be part of the Melange Fashion Show. And the Melange Fashion Show, they will be able to buy tickets because the ticket sales will go to be donated to a charity foundation to send a woman from an African village to get educated to become a nurse so that she can come back. It's called the Karabe Foundation. And so Melange is a very famous show, famous for diversity and inclusion. They have an incredible team that is so warm, so welcoming. And right now, their model castings are going on. So they were the first, one of the first, I think, to put plus size models on the runway, to put women of color on the runway, to put LGBTQ people on the runway. And the fashion show isn't what I would call your traditional New York City, let's sell clothes kind of fashion show. It's a celebration of diversity and inclusion. And it's so incredible. So many models that were first-time models have launched from the Melange fashion platform. So I encourage anyone who...
Anybody we know?
They're mostly in the fashion industry. There's this woman, Gabrielle. She is a plus-size model. And she was very afraid to model, but she had it in her heart to do that. And she told me the story that she went to the Melange casting, and they were so encouraging and so welcoming. And now she's been on
the ones I've seen
covers.
Are beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And, you know, I think it doesn't matter what size you are. It's just having that confidence in yourself. Confidence and, you know, your personality. When you feel good about yourself, it shows and it shines from the inside out, and it just makes you beautiful. So it's not about size, and I commend Melange for putting diversity into fashion, because the world is made up of all types of people. We're all different colors, shapes, and sizes. So fashion needs to encompass us all. It can't be exclusive to one type of person or one body type, one nationality. Everybody wears fashion. So it does need to include us all.
I totally agree. That's why I'm so honored to partner up with them. And then we're going to have this colossal show with robotic dresses on the runway. And
we're honored to partner with you as well.
Oh, I'm so thrilled. Las
we're
Vegas
really
Hot Radio is such
this.
an amazing partner of the whole event. Really thrilled. And
Detroit Hot Radio. Detroit Hot Radio is also a part of this. That's our sister station. And Detroit is kind of a fashion place as well, because a lot of things happen in Detroit. A lot of big things that are world renowned, like Motown, the automotive industry, of course, which when you think of the automotive industry, you don't really so much think of fashion, but they have the NARAS, which is one of the largest, I'm saying NARAS, I'm thinking about the Grammys, Lord have mercy. They have, well, theirs is NARAS too, but it's the North American International Auto Show, so NAIS, N-A-I-S. And it is one of the largest auto shows in the world, and it is truly a fashion event. And that is the place where someone would be seen wearing your fashion.
Also, yes.
They would definitely, come in that, because it is truly a fashion show. and they're moving it. It's been moved actually, so I think it will be this year for 2020. It will be in June. It used to be in the winter, always in January. So now with the warm weather, people can be a little bit more flexible in what they're going to wear because they don't have to battle the winter. So the technology that you have will be seen. Well, I don't know how affordable these pieces are. I'm sure the dresses that move like the ocean will probably be something more for a large entertainer with a big budget and something that may be in a museum. But you're working on some things that everyday people can use and wear. And one of them I have to get because my phone is always dead. I'm
You
forever.
mean our charging wallets?
Yes. I'm forever looking for some place to charge my phone. Tell us about this wallet.
I do not have that problem anymore. I do not run out of battery. Because I built these charging wallets. And they come in 18 different colors. You can get them on our e-commerce site. But basically, they're wireless charging. And you can just press here, this button.
Put that up in the camera so they can see it.
Yep, it turns red. And then you put your phone on top. And it will start charging.
Wow.
So it's
so
wireless
cool.
charging. Also, there's two different styles. This one is more like a portfolio, so it's good for traveling. And if you don't have a wireless charging phone, it also has this, backwards compatible cable for iOS and Android.
You thought of everything. So let me
And
ask
fashionable colors. We have snake skin. We have hot mirror fabric, pink, blue, gold. I don't think there are any
Something for
other
everybody.
wireless charging wallets out there in these amazing colors that we made. This one is gunmetal gray.
Awesome. So what I was going to ask you, did you always win the science project in school? Is this something you've wanted to do since you were a little girl?
I would say that actually my family, I have to credit them, my dad, he never excluded me from technology. It was just expected. And my stepmom sent me a picture the other day and I said oh, why did you send me a picture of my brother? And she says, it's not your brother, that's you. And I said, can't be me. I look like a boy. And she says, yeah, you were a tomboy, but I'm there, programming at the computer, and I didn't even remember that because technology was just expected of us. When my brothers went to code camp, I went to code camp. When somebody, my dad was forking a hard drive out of the computer, he was like, hey kids, come here. So I think a lot of people exclude women early on from technology. Mm-hmm. Back to the online summit, Allison Lewis talks about that she always loved, for her, technology was like magic. And she just couldn't believe that you could do all of these things, make light up and so on. But no one encouraged her when she was a young girl. No one ever said to her, oh, you can make that. They actually, excluded her from those higher education classes.
Yeah, because she's supposed to be a teacher or a nurse or work at the bank or all of these things that women were supposed to do throughout history. And I'm a little bit older than you, so my generation, I don't think, had as much exposure to technology as yours. Even though my generation is the ones, we didn't have it and then it happened. So somebody was working on it, but I wasn't exposed to it. Like when you said code camp just now, I don't even know what code camp is because it wasn't something that was available to me or that was offered in my school or something that my parents had knowledge of. So it's not something that I could have participated in. And I've always loved technology. My home has all types of little gadgets, little things that, you can use. I'm forever, before coming to China, I was forever sending off to China for, little things that light up. I have a thing for things that light up and, things that talk. And things that do this. You know, I've got the toilet seat from Japan, the heated seat that washes your front, your back, and blow dries you. And then I bought the little thing for the bathroom that turns your water different colors. So I love technology. So had this been something available to me, or a career for girls, I always had the interest. It may have been something that I would have considered.
Absolutely. And that's why it's really important that if you have young girls, that you don't exclude them from these types of activities. Mm-hmm. And that's also why I think we have a deficit of, you know, tech products that we would want to wear. We have a deficit in services that serve us as women, simply because there aren't people thinking of those problems and creating solutions for them. Now there's more now more and more projects for moms and for all kinds of, you know, women engineers. There's an app for everything, but there wasn't before. And for example, I also want to say that, you know, I think there's also a space, and that's what Christian Bruns said. So that's why I even think, like your necklace, there's also a place for technology that's not connected, but that is cool. We have this subculture, again, in Las Vegas, in Detroit, you know, music culture going on, where we love to light up, where we love to, like, have a bit of electronic bling going on, right? And so
I love the necklace.
I do too. I think it's cool.
I need a pair of matching earrings.
Oh my goodness. I made a hat. Okay, I made a hat.
Well, you've made a lot of things, and I want to jump to, because we need to take a commercial break. On the break, I want to jump to YouTube that you did showing what you did with the Chinese government. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we come back. So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, right after this.
Internet radio is the new home for adult R&B and hip-hop. Tell somebody about the new Las Vegas Hot Radio, the heart and soul of Las Vegas music.
It's really interesting to see how technology, fashion, art are being combined together. And our major challenge was how to synchronize 160 gloves, you know, with an illuminated lighting pattern together with the dancers. So it's really thanks to the Intel Curie that, you know, this project could, you know, be realized.
Using Intel Curie technology and gesture recognition, we were able to synchronize the 162 gloves.
Intel really made us think about the possibilities of the future between art and fashion.
Intel 也将为人们创造更多的精彩体验。
There's a whole world of possibilities.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to What's Up Las Vegas with your host, Lynelle Baker. And we're still here with Miss Anina Net from 360 Fashion Network. And so that commercial, if you were with us before, we just watched a beautiful infomercial about a project that you did with the Chinese government. That was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. You're brilliant.
Thank you. I can't take all the credit. You know, everybody works in a team. That was a really large team, but it was really great. The Chic Fashion Expo is the largest national fashion expo in all of China. And people come literally from all over the world, like 110,000 people. That's how huge it is. It's kind of like CES for fashion in China. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Wow.
And so we worked together with them because the China National Garment Association, when I showed them all this tech, they said, wow, we need to educate our fashion industry on how to use this tech. We don't want them to fall behind. And so we created the Chic 360 Fashion and Tech Pavilion, 15,000 square meters of space, where then I would build these huge experiences to give brands the idea, how would I use augmented reality in my business? How can I use 3D printing? How can I implement QR codes into my garment tags? And it's much easier for fashion brands to learn when they walk into a store. And so we would build a whole store that they could walk into, but then they could interact with it, use mobile applications, beacons, and they could really see, I can see I could put this in my store and what I would do with it. Whether if you're just there with like a, PPT and a laptop, it's quite difficult for anyone in fashion to really imagine, because fashion is tactile, it's physical, it's experiential, it's communication.
Yes, well, and with the QR codes, I mean, that's widely used here in China. But in the U.S., it really hasn't taken off like that. Like how WeChat here in China, how you can use it for, everybody uses WeChat for everything. Nobody has cash or credit cards or anything else. Everything is paid for with WeChat. Every place takes WeChat.
No cash in here.
Exactly.
No cash in my wallet.
Yes, it is something that we need to evolve in the United States, and you can probably help us with that process by incorporating fashion.
So I think if things aren't fashionable, nobody wants to wear them. Even if you have a life-threatening, disease, God forbid, if it doesn't look good and you look like Frankenstein, you're not going to wear it.
Well, if you break your leg, you want a pink cast. Or you want to cast with your favorite sports team. So even the casts have become fashionable, for breaking your arm or leg. So yes, fashion is a part of everything. I look at the scrubs when you go to the hospitals now. Some of those have become really fashionable, and I'm like, oh, those scrubs are really nice. So absolutely.
And a lot of the technology that I built to show in those exhibitions, they were very advanced. For example, we brought augmented reality in 2010, 2011 to China. That was even early for the United States. And we built a 9-meter wall that you saw in the video.
Yes.
9-meter wall where you could take your phone and you could travel through this timeline and experience videos throughout the history of Chinese fashion.
Amazing.
And somewhere in the middle of 2007, I forget the name of the designer, he did a huge, colossal show where models were like walking with robots, people that were dressed up like robots. And I was like, that's going in here. But it was so incredible to go through the entire historic archives of China's fashion industry. It was a great learning experience. So, that's just one example of how 2010, 2011, people didn't even understand this concept of that you could point your phone at something and a video or a 3D character. I 3D digitized myself with a gaming company, Full Bone Structure.
Yes.
And so you could point your camera in the middle of the room and then I'd be there doing like a catwalk for you
wow.
in 3D. Yeah, it was very funny.
So that's kind of the hologram technology, isn't it?
Augmented reality, but if you projected it on a three-dimensional screen,
then it's a hologram.
Then it becomes a hologram, correct? So I'm just saying that a lot of these concepts that are coming out now, like the fact that I have a 3D avatar and that I have a full body scan, but that I did that in 2010, the fact that I built a whole VR shopping experience. You could put on, with Noitum, you could put on this, suit and the goggles, and then you could walk around a 360 fashion store and in my body as Anina, and then pick up 3D objects, look at them, and click and buy them. And I haven't yet to ever see that till this day, but we did that.
That's amazing. That would be amazing. And I have experienced augmented reality. I forgot about it when I was doing automobile shows for Ford. we had Ken Blanks there. He wasn't really there though. He was augmented reality, and he would appear in your video, and he's even in the picture. So yeah, I have experienced that, and it is pretty amazing because it's almost like the person's actually there, but you can't really touch them. Your hand would go through them, but absolutely amazing. But how expensive?
So that's a lot of the problem, is that why we're not getting widespread adaptation. The same thing as if you're making lots of those incredible light up costumes that you see in Las Vegas or on the stage, extremely expensive. The robotic dresses that we're making, they're one of a kind pieces. They're just kind of unaffordable. So that's sort of why I decided to make these wearable tech for women, our charging wallets, our light up jewelries, and we also have a smart safety ring for women that looks like a beautiful gem. I'll show you after the commercial break.
Okay.
But it's really about this digital lifestyle, right? I travel, so I'm always running out of power. So having my power with me in my wallet, it's not like I'm leaving home without my wallet, right? But sometimes you might forget your Mophie, or sometimes your Mophie wasn't charged. So this is like a backup that doesn't weigh more than a normal wallet.
No, it's nice. It's nice size. It's like
it's full of stuff.
Perfect size for me.
Which color though? There are 18 different colors.
I like this color. I like the silvers and the golds.
And then this jewelry is really awesome and amazing too, which I've actually, this is a prototype. I'm put it on a hat. We're going to mass manufacture here. But we've built these beautiful jewelries that Lynelle is wearing, and also bracelets.
Yes.
And there we have a portable laser machine. And that means that we can laser etch any design so you can have customized light up jewelry. So that is a whole new level of creating personalized fashion tech that, you know, it may not be connected to the internet and interact with, you know, Pokemons or whatever, but you can create your own, you know, style. And the other thing is it's a material innovation. You think, a lot of people think that this is hard metal because it's gold or it's silver, but they get so surprised when they see how lightweight it is. And
it is very lightweight and very flexible.
And very comfortable to wear, right? Because if you're dancing, you don't want to be like, have this metal collar on, right?
Absolutely.
But it looks metal.
Well, you know, and I can totally see the auto show teams wearing this, and you know, they really should consider it because you're from Michigan.
I know. That's why I'm really happy that Detroit Hot Radio is our partner in our event. As I told your colleague on the phone, I said, you know, I do all this stuff all over the world and no one in Michigan knows it. You know, I'm from Traverse City, Michigan. And you guys said now they're going to know it. So shout out to Hot Radio in Detroit, Detroit Hot Radio. Thank you so much. I would love people to know in my home state what I do.
Yes. And you also have not just these types of products, but the connected clothing. So you will have dresses and things like that where you can connect your phone to your dress and things of that nature. Do you want to elaborate on that? And you have a video as well. We're going to need to go to a commercial break very soon, and maybe we can show that video about your robotic dresses.
Yeah, so I don't have, but I will be launching during our event in New York, a jacket which has a soft, it's called e-textile. It means electronic textiles. So the thread has metal in it. And that means it's conductive if you connected it up to some electricity.
Wow.
Once it's connected up to some electricity, you know, we can get the ones and zeros going on that make the world go around, right? You press your finger down, it registers, oh, finger 1. You don't have it, 0.
So now this is going to be a silly question, but I know somebody's thinking this. With this connected clothing, what about if it rains or if there's lightning.
Lightning. I don't think lightning is an issue. It's not like you're wearing. It's not like you're the Tin Man and you're like wearing an antenna, you know.
So it's no different than walking around with your phone.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not enough of an electric current going through it to cause. Okay.
No, not at all.
Because I know someone's thinking that, and I know someo's going to ask that question. It may be a silly question, but I had to ask because I'll have people inboxing me after the show. So it's perfectly safe. It's just like walking around with your phone, ladies and gentlemen.
So, for example, now if this piece of clothing, right, it has a touchpad in it that's soft and you can wash it, right?
Sure.
So to answer the water question, yes, you know, water and electronics, not really like good friends, you know.
Do you recommend dry cleaning?
Dry cleaning. But the dry cleaning is really no difference. They just immerse it in chemicals. I have another theory about washing and electronics. But people ask me all the time about, what if this wallet gets wet, you know? If it's just raining, this is leather, it's like any other wallet, right? If it falls in the toilet, you know, what happens to your phone when it falls in the toilet? There's no difference, right? So we need to get thinking in the same way. That which would happen to your phone. Of course, now they have fully waterproof.
Yes, they do. The iPhones.
Fully waterproof phones, but we're still in sort of phase 1 of fashion tech.
Sure.
We still need to solve a lot of those problems. I'm working on it. But until then, why I chose a suit jacket is because, you know, if it's a hoodie, you're going to scrunch it up and throw it in your bag and tie it around your waist and sit on it and beat it to death. But a suit jacket, you treat differently. You hang it up nicely.
Sure.
You wash it less. You care for it because it was expensive.
Sure.
And you need it to look good, and you don't want to be washing it all the time. You need it to be ready when you need to look sharp, right? So that's why I chose a suit jacket, right?
Yes.
But then imagine that you are working as a manager in a high-level retail store, right? And your favorite customer comes in. What if you had a preset here on your jacket that is for Japanese customers? So all of a sudden you could just, you know, touch that button, and the lighting and the music and the temperature would all change to be more suitable for a Japanese customer, as an example.
Wow. And so let's go to break and let's take a look at her robotic dresses and also the
Motion dress.
And what is the other one we're going to look at? We're going to look at 2.
Oh, the robotic dress, motion dress, and of course our illuminated jewelry.
All right. And we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, right after this.
I'm a global nomad. I learned that from my fashion modeling days. Right? And women build companies very differently than men. Cooperating with CEOs who are male is much easier here than in the West.
I'm Carly Rose Wolski. I'm an Australian fashion designer. I have a startup label called Carly Rose The Label, and I'm so excited to show you the Asteria bags. The Asteria bag is a clutch or purse sized bag. At the moment it comes in 2 colours, ivory with pink and gold and black with mixed metals. So there are a few really exciting features about these bags. The first thing you might notice is the LED lights underneath the beading here. Incorporated into these bags is a brand new e-textile from 360 Fashion Network called the LED ribbon. So not only do the lights light up the gorgeous beading on the front of the bag, but the lights continue to the inside of the bag, making an interior light. The lights have a small controller with a button which clicks through some different light options, including constant, strobing and other effects. So if you're in a club or a dark venue, you can easily find your money or your lipstick. The bags are ethically made and cruelty-free. The outer is made from a biodegradable eco-faux leather from Brentano, a high-grade textile which has been wear-tested to withstand 100,000 double rubs. Then there's the lining, which is made from reclaimed fabrics which would otherwise be tossed away to landfill. So the bag is sustainable as well. Ethical production and sustainability are at the core of my brand. This brings me to why I have created a campaign. This is the first commercial product for Carly Rose the label, and all proceeds from the sales of the bags and pledges on the campaign will go towards starting a fashion business and collection. I can't wait to launch a fashion collection made from sustainable resources and produced ethically, but that's why I need you. Every pledge counts. The bags are available for pre-order and are set to be ready to ship between February and April 2017. If you are into unique conversational pieces, but also concerned about sustainability and buying ethical fashion, this is definitely the bag for you. At the same time, you'll be investing in something awesome, and you will always be a part of those first few steps for Carly Rose the label. Get ready to light up your style with the Asteria bag.
Internet radio is the new home for adult R&B and hip-hop. Tell somebody about the new Las Vegas Hot Radio, the heart and soul of Las Vegas music.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to What's Up Las Vegas with your host, Lynelle Baker. And we have had a wonderful, wonderful interview with Miss Anina Net. And so in closing, Miss Anina, what would you like to leave with our listeners? And I always ask that because the premise of the show has always been to kind of impart something to our viewers, because we have people who aspire to do things, but sometimes they need a little motivation. Sometimes they think that they can't do this. Oh wow, she did that, that's amazing, but I can't do that. And so we want people to know that you have to start somewhere. So I always try to ask people to share some of their story, because some people think that you just kind of woke up one day and you were successful. You know, you just kind of woke up one day and you got the call and now you're on, New York Fashion Week. But they don't know the many struggles that you had to go through to get to that point. All the rejection you may have faced, or like we talked about earlier, people saying, you can't do this because you're a girl, or what have you. So what messages would you like to convey to the youth listening, and even to adults, because we need motivation as well? And what would you like to share about your story that you feel is impactful?
Who would guess that a fashion model could create technology? Sometimes the ideas, the visions of the future, they come through the most unlikely characters. And if you are one of those unlikely characters, you have been chosen for that dream. And there is only you who can bring that specific dream to the world. People mocked me. They said, you're a fashion model, you can't do tech. You're a woman, you can't do tech. You're too young, you're too old, you're too whatever. Like, I'm too. That too. But every time that I stepped out in boldness, I decided, I'll just go to China. And then I'll become China's top foreign model. And everyone will play my mobile game. And then I'll revolutionize the fashion industry from the top down. Like, quite naive. But it actually happened. And if you focus, and if you keep that dream and guard your heart, I believe that your dream totally can come true.
And it can. So to get to that point, the one thing that you must have is belief in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, why should anybody else? If you're not willing to invest in yourself, why should someone else invest in you? So that's the one thing that you have to make any of your dreams come true. You have to first believe it in your mind. You have to create the idea, work on the goal, map it all out and begin working on the goal. And you have to really believe that you can achieve this, that it's possible, that you have what it takes within you to do this. And that is where it all starts. believing in yourself. Very important. And we believe in you.
Thank you so much, Las Vegas Hot Radio, Detroit Hot Radio. Thank you, Lynelle, for believing in me and thinking that my story and what I'm doing, it has great value. And I hope the listeners have enjoyed learning about fashion tech. And I would love to see you in New York.
Yes. Well, we have a lot of viewers and listeners who love fashion and who have careers and things that require them to be connected and to also be fashionable. And I'm sure many of them do actually attend New York Fashion Week. So hopefully they will check out these events, and we'll post it again so that people, if they didn't write it down when you were giving all the information, so they can get the dates and times for these events. This is going to absolutely blow you away, ladies and gentlemen. So please support Anina. It's absolutely amazing. And this is the fashion and the technology of the future. Connected clothing, robotic clothing. And we're going to close the show, but we really appreciate you tuning in. And we'll see you next time on What's Up Las Vegas with your host, Lynelle Baker, on www.lasvegashotradio.com.